apologize for that. So, anyway, she's going to be added for a game on Sunday. There's here. NBC Sports add another high-profile special contributor whose NBA coverage this time is the biggest name in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has joined NBC as a special contributor to his Basketball Night in America pregame show, which will air prior to Sunday Night Basketball series, which begins this weekend. Unlike Michael Jordan, whose special contributor role for NBC so far consisted of a single
So NBC just announced something that's going to change the conversation around Caitlin Clark's future. She's joining their NBA pregame show as a special contributor, appearing alongside Maria Taylor and Jamal Crawford for Basketball in America. First appearance? This Sunday at Madison Square Garden. And the timing here is fascinating, because we're still sitting in limbo with no confirmed WNBA season start date.
I wonder what the odds are of there being a WNBA season, because let's be real, like, I think if there was a chance that the season could be delayed and the season would be cancelled and the league wouldn't die, I think my odds would be a lot higher. I'm at 95% there's going to be a season. I'm at 90% it starts on time. But you just never know. As the weeks go on, those percentages change.
Here's where this gets complicated. The article specifically mentions that Clark would be highly unlikely to make on-air appearances in the event of a WNBA strike or work stoppage. But think about what that means. Every other player in this league can go to Unrivaled, collect investor money to train at what's essentially a summer camp, and not play in the actual WNBA. But Caitlin can't do media work during a stoppage. That's the standard she's being held to. The double standard is staring us right in the face. Players causing the work stoppage get paid to practice. The league's biggest draw gets told she can't appear on NBC's pregame game. Make that make sense.
In the event the season's delayed due to work stoppage, be highly unlikely Clark make on-air appearance while unions on strike. What standard is she going to be held to for that, by the way? If the season's delayed, every other player in this league. So basically, Caitlin Clark is not allowed to do media because of a work stoppage. But all those other players that are the reason for the work stoppage are allowed to sit there and Unrivaled at their summer camp and get paid to train, get paid, take investors' money.
Now let's talk about what NBC is actually getting here. When they brought Michael Jordan on as a special contributor, that was a single pre-taped interview. Reportedly cost them somewhere in the range of $40 million. Clark's deal is different. She'll be appearing live multiple times throughout the season. The first confirmed dates are March 29th in Oklahoma City and Sunday at Madison Square Garden. Jordan's one-and-done situation, this is an ongoing role, which raises an obvious question. What's NBC paying for this? Because hundreds of thousands of people will tune in specifically to watch Caitlin Clark analyze basketball, not Carmelo Anthony, not any other special contributor they could have chosen.
I love how Taurasi, the first thing she said was reality came to me. But it's unlikely Basketball Night in America will be the only time Clark appears on NBA Sunday's night sports lineup. FIFA schedule for Sunday night games on So they're on NBC. It doesn't matter for me. I'm in Ireland. But that makes it very, very interesting. So, what does this mean? It means we're going to see Caitlin Clark in broadcast. And the fact is that I would be...
Here's what makes this deal particularly interesting from a media perspective. Clark's last appearance as a guest analyst was on that alternate presentation of the NCAA Women's Championship with Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird on ESPN. Remember Taurasi's first comment during that broadcast? Reality came to me. That's what she said when Clark joined them. The subtle tension was palpable even then, but this NBC role is different. This isn't a one-off guest spot during a college game. This is NBA coverage. This is Caitlin Clark, providing analysis on the men's game, sitting alongside NBA legends, appearing on primetime Sunday broadcasts. The platform is massive. The audience is exponentially larger than anything WNBA related.
I know the Jordan one cost millions. Like, the rumor is that the interview was $40 million for Michael Jordan. And that was one 40-minute interview. I mean this because they showed those Michael Jordan interviews as like clips to get people to watch the show because it was their first thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Caitlin Clark's appearance per episode is in the millions. I mean that. Like, I wouldn't be that surprised if she's getting paid $2 million an episode, because there are hundreds of thousands of people that will tune in just to watch Caitlin Clark.
The schedule detail here matters more than people realize. The article mentions she'll be unavailable for NBA playoff coverage due to the WNBA season. That's assuming there is a WNBA season starting on time. Right now, the creator puts his odds at 95% there will be a season, 90% it starts on time. But watch how those percentages shift as weeks pass without a new CBA agreement. And here's the thing. If the season gets delayed by even a month, suddenly Clark's available for more NBC appearances. If it gets delayed 2 months, she's potentially available for playoff coverage. The longer this labor situation drags out, the more valuable this NBC relationship becomes for her. That's not lost on anyone involved in these negotiations.
Greater than that of Carmelo Anthony. It really is. Look, I think it'll be a very, very interesting one to see what is going to be happening with Caitlin Clark and NBC. It'll be like, I do think Caitlin Clark will do a decent job of it, especially that type of show where, like, I don't think Caitlin Clark would be the greatest, like, you know, kind of Aaliyah Boston doing a lot of stuff on commentary. I think those type of NBA shows, where it's basically just players talking, just chatting to each other, where it's a little bit like.
Let's address the elephant in the room. Clark hasn't played since July, 13 games into her sophomore season before injuries shut her down. Her most recent public appearance was playing golf. She's been completely out of the basketball spotlight for months, and now she's re-emerging not in a WNBA context, but analyzing NBA games for NBC. Think about the optics of that from the league's perspective. Your biggest star, the player who single-handedly drove record ratings and attendance, is making her return to basketball media by talking about men's basketball, not promoting the WNBA, not building hype for her return to Indiana. Analyzing Knicks Thunder on a Sunday night.
Jokic, and they're like, what if they double team? It's like, well, if they double team him, he passes to a shooter. I say, oh, why are they now switching to pick and roll? It's like, if they go through the pick and roll, the guard turns the corner, it's a layup. Like, oh, I can't even remember. It's not that exact thing, but it was literally like people going with Candace Parker, being like, why don't you do this? She was like, well, that's a layup. That's an open three-pointer. Why they have to do that? But yeah, look, it'll be an interesting one to see Caitlin Clark on Sunday. For NBA pregame, it is it on during a reasonable hour for me? I was about to say, I was like, nothing. I don't even know what reasonable hour is anymore. I went to sleep at 4 p.m. today, so I can't. Was it 4 or 5? I actually between 4 and 5 p.m. I went to sleep today, after being up since 8 a.m. the day before. So I slept 30 something hours, 31 hours. But yeah, 32 hours. Either way, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys going to be watching it? I think it's interesting. I think it is interesting to see Caitlin Clark being involved in the media. I think she'll do a good job. I do think she will do a good job, to be honest, in the media. I think she'll be good at it, and I think in this type of setting where she's talking with other top-tier pros or former pros, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really fun scenario for Caitlin to be in, and I think it's going to be something that a lot of fans are really going to enjoy. And look, at the end of the day, has the mania died of Caitlin? Yeah, but she's still one of the most popular athletes in the world, especially Americans. Most popular athletes in no, definitely one of the most popular athletes in America.
So what does this actually mean for Caitlin Clark's future? Let's break down what we know and what we can reasonably project. First, the money. The creator speculates she could be making millions per episode, and that's not as crazy as it sounds. When you're NBC and you know that Clark's appearance will drive hundreds of thousands of additional viewers to your pregame show, you pay whatever it takes. Especially when you're competing with ESPN and trying to establish your NBA coverage. A $2 million appearance fee for someone who brings that kind of audience? That's not an expense, that's an investment. Compare that to her WNBA salary. Even with the new CBA that players are fighting for, even with the raises everyone's demanding, Clark's not making anywhere close to what NBC can pay her for a few Sunday appearances. That's the reality of the market. The NBA audience dwarfs the WNBA audience, and the advertising dollars follow accordingly. Second, the platform. This isn't some niche WNBA media appearance where she's preaching to the choir. This is NBC's primetime NBA coverage. This is Madison Square Garden on a Sunday night. This is the biggest basketball stage in America, and she's being positioned as an expert analyst alongside NBA legends. That elevates her brand in ways that WNBA coverage simply cannot. Third, the timing. The fact that this announcement comes now, while the WNBA is in labor limbo, sends a message. Maybe not intentionally, but the message is clear. Caitlin Clark has options. She doesn't need the WNBA as much as the WNBA needs her. If the season gets delayed or canceled, she's not sitting at home waiting. She's on NBC analyzing NBA games and building her media career. Now, does that mean she's going to retire from the WNBA like the creator joked about at the start? No, highly unlikely. She's 23 years old and still loves playing basketball. But does it mean she has leverage that no other WNBA player has? Absolutely. If the league messes up her prime years with labor disputes and mismanagement, she can pivot to media and probably make more money with less physical wear and tear. Think about the position this puts the WNBA in. They're negotiating a new CBA, players are demanding more money and better conditions. Their biggest star just signed a deal that likely pays her more for a few Sunday appearances than she makes in an entire WNBA season. How do you sell players on the value of the league when Clark can make more money talking about basketball than playing it? And here's what makes this particularly awkward for the league office. They need Clark on the court. The ratings prove it, the attendance proves it, the merchandise sales prove it. But they also need to negotiate a CBA that satisfies the players' union. If they give Clark special treatment or try to structure a deal that benefits her disproportionately, the union revolts. If they don't, she has less incentive to prioritize the WNBA over other opportunities. The creator mentions that Clark will do a decent job in this role, and he's probably right. This isn't play-by-play commentary where she'd need years of experience. This is a conversational pregame show where players just talk basketball with each other. It's similar to Inside the NBA's format. Less formal analysis, more personality and perspective. Clark's smart, she understands the game at an elite level, and she's comfortable on camera. She'll be fine. But the real question isn't whether she'll be good at it. The question is what this represents for the future of the WNBA's relationship with its star. If your best player can make more money and reach a bigger audience by analyzing men's basketball than by playing women's basketball, what does that say about the state of your league? The WNBA has spent years trying to build its brand, fighting for media coverage, demanding respect from sports media. And now their biggest star is using her platform to cover the NBA. It's not a betrayal. Clark has every right to maximize her opportunity, but it's a reminder that the WNBA still operates in the NBA's shadow, and even its brightest star can't escape that reality. So where does this leave us? Caitlin Clark debuts on NBC this Sunday. The WNBA season remains in limbo, with no confirmed start date. Players are at unrivaled collecting paychecks, while CBA negotiations drag on. And the league's biggest draw is building her media career talking about a different league entirely. The creator asks if you'll be watching, and honestly, that's the question that matters most. Because if Clark draws massive ratings for NBC analyzing NBA games, it proves her value transcends the WNBA. It proves she's not just a women's basketball star, she's a basketball star, period. And it gives her leverage that no amount of CBA negotiating can overcome. This is either the beginning of Caitlin Clark's media empire, or it's a side gig while the WNBA gets its act together. Time will tell which one it becomes. But one thing's certain, NBC didn't pay her millions just to show up once. They see the same thing everyone else sees: the biggest name in women's basketball, with crossover appeal that extends far beyond the WNBA's core audience. So tune in Sunday, watch how she handles the role. Pay attention to the ratings that get reported afterward, because those numbers will tell us everything we need to know about Caitlin Clark's future, and whether that future includes the WNBA at all.